The San Francisco 49ers enter this phase of the offseason in a fascinating position, not because of one singular storyline, but because of how many different layers are unfolding at once. When General Manager John Lynch speaks at league meetings, you're not just hearing updates. You're getting a window into how an organization recalibrates after adversity, criticism, and internal evaluation. And right now, the 49ers are balancing reassurance, transition, and quiet urgency all at the same time. One of the more unusual storylines surrounding this team has been the speculation about the Levi's Stadium substation and whether it had any role in the team's injury issues. It's the kind of narrative that can spiral quickly in today's media environment, especially when a team deals with a high volume of injuries. But Lynch and the organization didn't dismiss it outright. Instead, they leaned into due diligence, bringing in an independent expert with decades of experience studying electromagnetic fields. What they found essentially shut the door on the theory entirely. The exposure levels inside the facility were not just safe. They were dramatically below any harmful threshold, reportedly hundreds of times lower than what would raise concern. That response matters more than it might seem on the surface. This isn't just about disproving a theory. It's about trust inside the locker room. When players raise concerns, no matter how unconventional, the way a front office responds sends a message. By investigating thoroughly, the 49ers reinforce that player health isn't just a talking point. It's operational. It's prioritized. And in a league where injuries can define seasons, that kind of internal credibility is critical. At the same time, the organization is confronting more grounded criticism, particularly from the NFLPA report card, where their training staff and facilities didn't rank as highly as expected for a top-tier franchise. Lynch's response was telling. He didn't deflect. He acknowledged that modern athletes expect more individualized care, more access, and more support. That recognition is already translating into action, with a reported $9 million investment into upgraded rehab and recovery infrastructure. Hydrotherapy, cold plunges, and advanced recovery systems are becoming standard across elite franchises, and the 49ers are making sure they're not just keeping up, but aiming to lead. This ties directly into one of the most important conversations happening internally, and that revolves around Christian McCaffrey. Few players in the league are as central to their team's identity as McCaffrey is to San Francisco. His ability to dictate defensive alignments, impact the passing game, and serve as a consistent offensive engine makes him irreplaceable. But that level of usage comes at a cost. When a player is touching the ball over 400 times in a season, it's not sustainable long-term, no matter how elite they are. Head coach Kyle Shanahan made it clear that the team understands this. They don't want to reduce McCaffrey's impact, but they do want to reduce his burden. That's a critical distinction. The goal isn't to make him less important. It's to make him more effective over the full length of a season and into the postseason. That means finding complementary pieces in the backfield, whether through the draft or internal development. And historically, Shanahan has never hesitated to cycle through running backs to find the right fit for his system. What makes this situation more complex is that the current supporting cast hasn't fully solidified itself. There's potential in players like Isaac Guerendo and Jordan James, but potential doesn't guarantee production. If the 49ers truly want to preserve McCaffrey, they may need to invest again at the position, continuing a trend of targeting mid-round backs with specific athletic traits that fit their scheme. It's not just about depth, it's about maintaining the structural integrity of the offense. Now, if you're following all of this closely and want to stay ahead of every roster move, every strategic shift, and every hidden storyline shaping this team's future, make sure you subscribe to the channel right now. Because what's happening with the 49ers isn't just another offseason. It's a critical turning point that could define their next championship window. Another major storyline that could reshape the offense is the ongoing situation with Brandon Aiyuk. This is where patience becomes strategy. The 49ers are not rushing into a decision, and that's intentional. From a salary cap perspective, the timing of any move, whether it's a trade or release, has massive financial implications. Acting too early could result in a significant dead cap hit with no real benefit. Waiting, on the other hand, opens the door for flexibility and potential return value. But beyond the financials, there's a broader philosophical question at play. How does this team want to structure its passing attack moving forward? Aiyuk has been a high-level contributor, But the emergence of new receiving options and the reshaping of the wide receiver room suggest a shift could be coming. Lynch's comments about being excited for a new-look group, combined with the departure of Jawan Jennings, signal that this unit is evolving. Jennings, in particular, brought a physical presence and reliability that often went underappreciated outside the building. Replacing that isn't just about stats. It's about identity. It's about how receivers block in the run game, how they handle contested catches, and how they contribute in high-leverage moments. The 49ers don't just need talent at wide receiver. They need players who fit their culture and system. Meanwhile, in the trenches, there's a quieter but equally important battle brewing at left guard. Offensive line continuity is one of the most underrated factors in offensive success, and right now, that continuity has been disrupted. With multiple departures and unproven options stepping into the mix, Lynch has made it clear that the team isn't finished addressing the position. Competition is coming, whether through the draft or additional signings. This is where roster construction becomes a chess match. The 49ers have multiple mid-round picks, giving them flexibility to target interior linemen who may not be first-round talents but can develop into reliable starters. And in Shanahan's system, where timing and cohesion are critical, even a slight upgrade on the interior can have a ripple effect across the entire offense. Defensively, and from a coaching standpoint, the organization is also undergoing subtle but meaningful changes. Promotions within the coaching staff, including the rise of KJ, right into a more prominent role, indicate a commitment to continuity while still fostering new leadership. These internal developments often go unnoticed by casual fans, but they play a significant role in shaping player development and scheme evolution. And then there's the broader league context, which could have unexpected consequences for teams like the 49ers. The potential use of replacement referees due to labor disputes introduces an element of unpredictability that no team can fully prepare for. If history has shown anything, it's that inconsistent officiating can directly impact game outcomes. For a team with championship aspirations, even small variables like that can become significant obstacles. All of these storylines converge into one central theme. The 49ers are not standing still. They are actively adjusting, responding, and preparing for a season where expectations remain incredibly high, but the margin for error is just as thin. And as this offseason continues to unfold, one thing is becoming increasingly clear. The decisions made right now, how they manage McCaffrey's workload, what they do with Aiyuk, how they rebuild the offensive line, and how they reshape the roster, will determine whether this team remains a contender or takes a step back in an increasingly competitive NFC. If you want to follow every twist, every decision, and every impact move as it happens, make sure you stay locked in with the channel. Because this story is far from over, and the next chapter could be the most important one yet.